Oh my god, it's Min Min. We had Min Min. We had her last weekend with the a WMV file. Like the computer basically like spat tears and saliva out. Like Min Min, we had you most recent last weekend. That one was a good one. So Min Min wrote. Uh, Binding of Isaac computer. Trying to think. Like, okay, well, Min Min wrote Birdphone. Think different. Oh my god, look at that bird. Look at that. Look at that guy. Look at that. Which part of you specifically thinks that? Everything. The fact that, like, you know, how fast, like, you interacted with him makes me feel like, I feel like I'm being conned. Being punked right now. Option class, safe. Special containment procedures. Each instance of SCP-2232 is to be kept in a standard safe class containment locker when not in use. I love this bird. I just love how it looks like. Using SCP-2232 to make calls or send text messages must be done in the presence of a certified bird handler. Pardon me? Say that again. I can make calls with this little guy? I can send a text to my crush with this little guy? That would be most impressive. Imagine like you want to send your like your crush a text, and she's like thinking you're gonna send one over this boring ass thing, you know, the typical thing. But then a bird flies up and is like just pops like this little thing, like here you go. SCP-2232 must not be left unattended while being charged. Oh my god, we get. I love him. Use of SCP-2232 instances for tracking telephone-based anomalies, including SCP-3046, has been approved on a case-by-case basis. And here we have a dash from being used to make a phone call. Hey, dude, yeah, oh yeah, I'm broke now, so you gotta talk with me through a fucking bird. Hey, no, this is what the people who live luxurious have. Like, I don't need to use a phone. I'll send you my bird. Like, Pause. It's like, yeah. I got 50 messenger birds. They arrive at you this like a minute after I send a message. Don't you worry about it. Description: SCP-2232 is a smartphone. What's your bird? No, this is the actual Twitter. This is what Twitter became, or should have become. SCP-2232 is a smartphone superficially resembling a sky blue Samsung Galaxy S4. Running on a modified version of the Android operating system listed as Android 5.7.4, delicious sunflower seeds. SCP-2232's casing has so far resisted all attempts to be opened, and any attempts to do so have resulted in SCP-2232 vibrating violently and emitting a loud, squawking noise. 9 instances of SCP-2232 are currently in Foundation possession, labeled as -1 through 10. Come on. Similarities between SCP-2232 instances and the phones seen carried by riders of SCP-2965, we will get there next year, has been observed. Research into a shared origin of these phones is ongoing. Update: as per incident 1 through 3 has been neutralized, samples of its remains are currently stored in the inert biological sample wing of Site 77. Using SCP-2232 to call a valid telephone number causes it to transform into a common hill miner. Is that how you say it? Miner? Mina? Which then appears to reproduce via budding to produce a second smaller miner. The second instance, designated -A, will then attempt to fly directly towards the location of the dial telephone. SCP-2232 has been found to be able to locate both mobile and landline telephones once provided with the appropriate number. However, should SCP-2232 be used to call telephones located more than 40 kilometers away, it will instead prompt to the user to kindly enable airplane mode for long distance communication. Okay, so I'm going to fall asleep for 30 minutes, be back in 30 minutes. If you get to 2237, remember this, there are only 2 actual articles. Hopefully that makes sense when you get there. The article is kind of confusing. Also, there are no tales to read. Okay. I'll try to remember that. Once it has reached its destination, Dash-A will then attempt to attract the attention of the nearest human being by mimicking loud noises like alarms or heavy machinery, or flapping its wings in his/her face. From this point onwards, SCP-2232 and Dash-A will function as a two-way voice transmission system, with speech addressed to the former instantaneously vocalized by the latter and vice versa. The call can be terminated anytime by grabbing either minor and turning it gently upside down, resulting in SCP-2232 reverting to its smartphone form and Dash-A disappearing into a puff of carbon dust. Honestly, I'd have this. God, I feel like giving a prophetic riddle. Don't you fuck. I had enough of riddles from last time. Using SCP-2232 to send text messages to a valid mobile telephone number it causes SCP-2232 to transform into a homing pigeon designated Dash-B. Dash-B will then travel towards the message mobile telephone, vocalize the text message, and travel back to its original location. Basically like the crows in Demon Slayer. This is basically if you take the snail telephones from One Piece, make them into birds instead, and then the text message is the crows from Demon Slayer, where they just fly towards you and be like, "I have a message for you." Should its destination be more than 500 kilometers away, SCP-2232 will also prompt the user to enable airplane mode. I wonder how much faster they are in airplane mode. Enabling airplane mode from SCP-2232's setting will apparently allow calls and messages to be sent to any location on Earth. However, SCP-2232 will instead assume the form of, in the case of a text message, or produce an instance of, in the case of a telephone call, a great white pelican. Designated Dash-C. Dash-C will then proceed to travel towards the location of its recipient. Upon reaching its destination, Dash-C will open its beak, revealing either an instance of Dash-A or Dash-B, which will... it's basically doing the Nemo thing, where it's like, fly into my beak, which will then perform its intended function as detailed above. Once the intended function has been performed, Dash-C appears to consume the instance of Dash-A and Dash-B and fly back towards its original locations. The avian forms of SCP-2232 will stop for food and water along their journeys, rest when tired, and have been known to ride on vehicles to reach their destinations. SCP-2232 is highly impractical as a form of communication, as short-range calls can take up to a day to reach its recipient, while long-range intercontinental transmissions are estimated to take up to several years. Ooh, boy. Be wary, traveler, when you find the 7th road, walk not the 3rd path. I feel like the birds are somehow sentient, but not really. It just likes being a phone. It's basically combining the old ways of communication with the new ways of communication in the most poorly designed way possible. Remember back then, way back then, when you had to use pigeons as carrier pigeons to send messages out, and it took like days for them to reach the location. And you're like, yeah, thankfully that's not the case anymore, but this SCP's like, no, it's still the case. It's just that now I'm disguised as an actual phone. Go pass out. Yeah, fucking sleep already, brother. You're the only one keeping yourself awake. The avian forms of SCP-2232 will stop for food. Oh, read that. Incident 1. Following scheduled experimentation on 3rd... by the way, I did not check if the... Okay. On the 3rd 5th, 2015, research assistant Chang left Dash-3 plugged into his charging port overnight in the storage locker 284. When the containment locker was reopened the next day, a large white mass rapidly expanded outwards from it, pinning research assistant Chang onto the opposite wall of the storage room and swiftly obscuring the view of the security cameras. What? On site, security forces found the door of the storage room blocked from the inside and eventually gained access using low-yield explosives. The inside of the storage room appeared to be uniformly lined with a thick layer of flesh covered in white feathers, with the exception of the inside of locker 284, which was heavily charred. Samples of the flesh sent for analysis revealed it to be of avian origin. Did he overcharge it and it just exploded in feathers and meat? And consisted of living muscle tissues connected to a rudimentary blood supply with several hearts. Ooh. Ugh. An extensive skeletal framework supporting the muscle tissue was also discovered, apparently made of copper, glass, and assorted plastics. Site maintenance staff armed with propane torches and machetes eventually extracted the body of research assistant Chang and evacuated the other items contained in the storage room. The remaining flesh was then excised and the room disinfected with bleach. Oh hey! Civ. Thank you for the hydrate. Water now! Yeah, okay, I'm drinking. Mimmin, so like how can we how can twist something medieval into something goofy? I will be honest with you. If I open up a locker and a mass of a humongous mass of a bird blob comes out of it and squashes me against the wall, I'd be terrified. The fact that it has multiple hearts is probably what freaks me out the most. Incident 2. There's a second incident. Like, imagine like you do that to yourself. Like, you plug in your phone and you leave it on overnight next to your fucking bed, and next thing you know, you're being pressed against the wall by this giant blob of bird and feather, and just. Incident 2. On the 20. I see you reacting down there with the Angie. You don't. There's no need to be angry. I drank my water. On the 20th, 2015, Dash 8 began vibrating and calling on its own accord. Oh boy, what's happening? Its screen indicated that it was receiving an incoming long-distance call. With permission from head researcher Tannenbaum. For everybody who doesn't speak German, Tannenbaum is a pine tree. Like the Christmas tree, basically. Research assistant Go answered Dash 8, which promptly assumed its minor form. The following conversation was recorded. Maybe they're not birds, but alien creatures that look like birds, and we're gonna take over humanity, but then want to be phones. I think you are going a little bit too deep in the theorization. Isn't it enough that it's already like there's a messenger phone / bird? Like, you have to be like, oh, maybe it's an alien. you do that quite a lot, actually. Now I realize it. Like, you try to like add some other extra reason why the SCP is the way it is. I'm like, it's just like, just accept it. Just embrace the being, my man. Begin log. Research assistant Go. Hello. Oh my god, you found my phone. Thank you so much. I thought I left it in a cassowary when I went to work, and... sorry, to whom am I speaking to here? Oh, this is Casey Durham. I live in unintelligible. On the Lower East Side, Seagull. Listen, is there any way for you to return my phone to me? Well, see, we can't exactly return your phone at the moment. Oh, I'm not in any trouble, am I? Dear Lord, that one time I was in the accident with the blue-footed booby was bad enough. By the way, that's an actual bird, if you guys don't know. I know because my friend in D&D, he wanted to be a croaker, which is a bird creature, and he was like, we were asking what kind of bird he wants to be, and he said blue-footed booby. Was bad enough. I don't think I... Excuse me, the blue-footed booby? Yeah, I just swerved into my lane and didn't even sound the horn or anything. Or signal, and the headlights and the passenger door on the old cassowary was just all bust up for weeks. I had to pay the repairman, the insurance flamingo was simply insane, and so it's been a rough few months for me. Listen, I've got some very important contacts and pictures on the bird. It seems a lot to me, believe me. If there's a nearby Australian bush turkey, you can drop it in a package and just put it in the state mail slot to number 23, unintelligible, presumed to be an address. Send it right to the doorstep of my Spix Macaw. That's okay with you, right? Is that another SCP? It is. Oh, it's the one we already... Wait. Oh, I think I know which... I think I recall this one. Hold on, let me double check. Oh. It's the false advertising, like the false campaigns type SCP. Man, I want to play D&D where I can just do shit like that. Yeah, you need to find yourself a group. I do it with a group of people I already knew, like a friend group I already was friends with like for years. But I know in the US you have like D&D locations where you just hang out with strangers and do the same thing. Which I also heard some very wild shit about it, but could you clarify what you mean by voice call roaming limit exceeded? Please contact your local Ringtail representative for inquiries on any additional roaming charges incurred. Well then. Oops. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, let me leave this. And bum SCP-2232. I honestly I thought the birds were cute. But I would never want to make my own phone become a messenger bird. That shit. Starting film projects would be a massive pain in the ass. What is it? Cloaca? Or Chloe? How do you spell cloaca again? I forgot how to spell cloaca. There we go, cloaca. Okay. Cloaca in this case. There we go. Yeah, I mean, like, unless you were in a small village, like in a town where like maybe like a couple thousand people lived, and all you're gonna do is talk to the people there, I can imagine it would not be too bad to have a bird, like a little messenger bird. I think that would be kind of cute. But if you want to text somebody across the fucking country, that shit would take so long. It would take forever. And then, like, if you accidentally overload it, you know, with energy, then you might get squashed against bird flesh. I'm just saying, I don't want that. That would be pretty nasty. If I can be honest with ya, I think that would be a bit nasty.